Worship the Creator. This week we continue our thoughts from last week's lesson, where we were trying honestly to discover what is true worship. And last week Nick stressed on what Prophet Micah was giving as a definition for true worship: to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. But doesn't that mean being concerned for the well-being of others? Doesn't that mean seeking for ways to uplift those who have been forgotten and downtrodden? Let's explore more of what true worship is today.
There is a thought in the introduction of the lesson that we somehow tend to overlook. Talking about the nations around Israel, or about the people around us in the world. How their values make them not to value those who need help, who struggle, who are weak. And this is not good. But us, those who are the recipients of so much grace, those that have received so much blessings from God, for us to forget to help, or to be the ones oppressing and taking advantage of people, this is so much worse. Who are we really worshipping? Should be a very honest question.
Yeah, it is good first if we point out that who we worship in our lives makes us who we want to be. Take, for example, the Jewish nation who just left the land of Egypt. They were walking in the direction of mercy, justice, and righteousness until the moment Moses goes for about 6 weeks up in the mountain and receives the 10 Commandments. And what happens then? The rescued people of Jehovah became a mob worshipping a golden calf. Did this change them? Yes, it did. Right there and forever after. Worshipping the calf was accompanied by a dancing, erotic religious dancing, as some theologians and historians will say. And all this led them to believe that they worshipped the god El, which was represented by the bull, and his wife Asherah, which was represented by the dance. And these were the gods of Egypt and Canaan. Now, Israel associated those two gods with the one who delivered them from Egypt. And when Moses saw that, he was outraged and he broke the 2 tablets.
They knew what oppression was. They were oppressed for hundreds of years. Then they experienced freedom, mercy, but it wasn't natural to them. They identified more with what they were used to. And it's the same with us. Our nature looks for our own selfishness. We fear and don't understand these high standards from God. We need something easier to relate to. And this drags us back down. This is where this notion of worship is key. It's not about satisfying God's ego to be glorified. People and idols, they are about that. Worshipping God, worshipping the Creator, it's about a relationship. It's about a deep connection. It's also a statement about our values.
Have you ever asked yourself, why do you worship the God of the Bible? What are the reasons for you to make such a choice? I hope you did ask yourself, because if you haven't, it's so easy to choose other objects to worship. This is what the Bible and the prophets reveal of our God to be. He is the maker of the heaven and the earth, the sea and everything in it. He upholds the cause of the oppressed and gives food to the hungry. The Lord sets prisoners free. The Lord gives sight to the blind. The Lord lifts up those who are bowed down, and the Lord loves the righteous. The Lord watches over the foreigner and sustains the fatherless and the widow. Our God is God of goodness and justice and mercy, a God who sacrificed himself so that we can have eternal life. The moment we choose to worship something or somebody else, we chose to change the course of our attitude toward the people around us and toward life as a whole. Would we care for the poor? Would we care for the oppressed if we worship gods of war or gods of fertility? doesn't fit in somehow. Those two don't go together. However, people are slow to comprehend that, and until they realize what they have gotten themselves into, it might be too late for a change.
We may see worship as a religious exercise. Do certain things, keep certain things, and this should make us more deserving in God's eyes. This is what Israel did many times by repenting, trying to get back to God, but putting more into the religion rather than into the relationship. And it didn't work very well in the long term.
The lesson comes this week as a challenge for us to reevaluate our attitude in respect to those who are suffering and are oppressed. Do we care honestly and earnestly about those people, or do we, and I quote from Amos 8:4, do we trample the needy and do away with the poor in our land? It is clear what God thinks of us. Amos says it that he hates and despises the worship of such people who do not help the oppressed and the suffering one. Their spirituality and religiosity is worthless. Prophet Micah tells it clearly what true worship is. Act justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly with your God. It's not in the religious forms or practices, it's in the real help and love that we can express to those who are in need. Then we know we worship the God of heavens and earth.
It's very disheartening when we argue about the right style of worship or preference of music and message, making it about what to wear and so forth. The lesson proposes another focus based on Isaiah, suggesting that our worship should be to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke. Isaiah 58:6.
Jesus was the best example for us how to live our lives and how to worship the Father in heaven. He said, I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Words coming out of his own mouth, but at the same time, he quoted Hosea 6:6 from the Old Testament. People who earnestly search how to worship the God in heaven very often misplace religious rituals and practices with what really God is asking from us: justice, mercy, and humility. But how do we act justly if we sit quietly while those around us happen to be oppressed and left alone on their own? How do we love mercy if we don't give to the poor that are around us? How do we walk humbly with a God like ours if we indulge in exploiting those around us for our own enrichment? We can make a choice to seek through worship and to be concerned about those around us.
As Adventists, we have a special message, and we do have certain different and important understandings. But if we make these things the base of our worship, we are doing the same mistakes that Israel did. Why would we expect different results? We need to stop making worship about ourselves and let God use us, help us to really worship Him by becoming His instruments to touch the people around us.
Jesus and those in need will be our study for the next week.